The 2024 Olympic Games in Paris, France seems to be Nigeria's worst outing at the Olympics since London 2012. The performance of Team Nigeria has been woeful since the start of the Games and ended without a single medal. Not even a bronze on the medals table, which was dominated by the United States and the People's Republic of China with 40 gold medals for the two top countries. Kenya led the African packs with 11 medals, 4 gold, 2 silvers and 5 bronze medals. However, in an apologetic statement personally signed on Saturday, 10th of August 2024 by the Minister of Sports Development, John Eno, he said, "The Olympic Games Paris 2024 have ended, and I accept that our performance should have been a lot better. It obviously fell short of our objectives, expectations and hopes of Nigerians. I must apologize to our compatriots and reflect on what went wrong while looking forward to the Paralympic Games Paris 2024, which will take place from August 28th to September 8th. When I assumed office as the Minister of Sports Development in August 2023, I was confronted with the task of executing 4 international competitions, namely the AFCON, the African Games, and the Olympic and Paralympic Games in a matter of a few months. I was also reminded that the Olympic Games is the world's supreme sports competition, and countries require at least 4 years to prepare for it. I held extensive discussions with the management staff of the ministry and got to know that preparations for the Olympics, which was less than a year away, had not started." End of quote. Meanwhile, as the Olympic Games moves to Los Angeles, United States for the next edition, Arise correspondent Aaron Akiwejola reports.
The French people and all the fans around the world are in love with the games and with each other. But even the most hardened cynic must admit, back sort of had the points. The Paris 2024 Olympics simply unforgettable.
Lineup of men is pretty even at the moment.
No allows. The world's fastest man won a gold medal in the 100 meters final in a race that came down to a remarkable photo finish. The meet was decided by just 0.005 seconds, as organizers originally declared Jamaica's Keisha Thompson as the winner. At age 37, Novak Djokovic finally won an Olympic gold medal to go along with his 24 Grand Slam titles. The Serb defeated Carlos Alcaraz, 16 years his junior, in a remarkable final at the Roland Garros, as Djokovic achieved his dream the hard way, having to defeat career-long rival Rafael Nadal in the second round in the pair's 60th meeting. Climbing onto the top of the Olympic podium, Rebecca Andrade soaked in the glory that only a gold medalist could feel. Then something remarkable happened. Simone Biles, the most decorated gymnast, and Jordan Chiles bowed down on each side of her, offering their praise. It was a moment that has since gone viral, but for Biles and Chiles, the silver and bronze medalists respectively, it was just the right thing to do, Simone Biles said to a reporter. Turkish shooter Yusuf Dikek went viral for his calm and casual demeanor at the Paris Olympics, but what he was feeling inside was quite the opposite. Dikek's nonchalant pose with his non-shooting hand casually tucked into his pocket sparked a flurry of memes on social media as he won silver alongside Sival Iyada Tahan in the mixed team 10 meters air pistol rifle.
Joining us now on the show to review Team Nigeria's performance at the just concluded Paris 2024 Olympics is Charles Ojugbana, veteran Nigerian sports journalist, and Chioma Ajunwa, who will be joining us very shortly, Nigeria's first Olympic gold medalist. Good morning, Mr. Ojugbana, and thank you for joining us today on the morning show.
Good morning, Ayo. Thank you very much. Good morning, Vimbai. And good morning, my good brother, Rufai.
Morning, sir. Bless you, sir.
All right, so go straight in. Your review of Team Nigeria. We're coming back home without a bronze medal, a silver medal, or a gold medal. No medal. At least we're coming home with A for effort. At least we went there and Nigeria was represented. But a number of mixed reactions, mixed views, some angry, some upset, some feeling defeated as to Team Nigeria's outing, especially with the amount of money that was spent on this particular outing. What's your general review of Team Nigeria's performance at the Olympics?
Well, Ayo, when you fail to plan, it means you have planned to fail. For me, there's just only one word to describe Nigeria's performance at the last Olympics, and that word is disaster. It's a humongous disaster that a country of so much sporting potentials and prowess can go to the games in 2024 and come back empty-handed. You know, I've always said it on this program, that sports is very intentional. Very intentional. It doesn't happen by coincidence. It is what you plan, what you dream, that you end up achieving. And for the Olympiad, which comes in a 4-year cycle, every country knows ahead of time when and where it will hold, and therefore you have the ample opportunity to plan. Let me give you an example of yesterday. The closing ceremonies ended with that spectacular show about Los Angeles. So we all know that in 4 years again, the youths of the world will gather in Los Angeles. We know that after Los Angeles, the next Olympiad will be hosted by the city of Brisbane in 2032 in Australia. 8 years from now, we know. So why is it impossible for a country as big and as rich and as, endowed like our own country to be unable to plan? I'll use Botswana as an example. Everybody's raving about Sile Tobogo, who won, of course, the gold medal in the 200 meters and helped his country to win the silver in the 4x4. Now, Tobogo is just 21 years old, which means Botswana has planned for Los Angeles in 28 and for Brisbane in 2032, because that young lad will be representing Botswana in 4 years' time and perhaps in 8 years' time. And guess what? He can only get better, save for maybe unfortunate incidents of injury or death or illness. But that's what's going to happen. And Botswana sent just 11 athletes, a gold and a silver. We sent 82 athletes. And I was shocked to my bone marrow when I saw Nigerian competitors in rowing, in swimming, in cycling. For crying out loud, what is that in the name of any country? Nigeria has what we call her areas of specialty that has been proven over time. We are good in combat sports. We are good in athletics. That is why in boxing, for instance, our first Olympic gold medal came from Nojim Mayegu as far back as 1964. The next one came from Isaac Ikoria in Munich 72. After that, we had Peter Konyegwachi. And we have had a long train of boxers, all of them of world repute. Dick Tiger, Hogan Bassi, Obisi Anwakpa, Joseph Lasisi, Jeremiah Okorodudu. I can go on and on and on and on. Why is it that there was no Nigerian boxer in the quarterfinals, finals, and winning a medal in the Paris Olympic Games? We have also been known to be very good in weightlifting, in wrestling. What happened? Weightlifting and wrestling, for instance, are what we call multi-sport events, which means one athlete can win you more than one gold medal. They have the freestyle, they have the Greco-Roman. So just one good wrestler is a gold medalist. So, like I said, when you fail to plan, what you get is that you end up with a disaster like we did.
All right. When you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Good to see you again. Isn't that the case that we are just talking and these people will never listen? I always mention and refer to the case of Seoul Olympics. And that debacle that happened. Even in 2012, we had a debacle. We just spoke, but nothing was ever done. I want you to talk to the culture of the incompetence that is pervasive in our sporting world as we speak. The I don't care culture. Because that's really the problem. Because nobody will be held accountable for what happened at this Olympics. People are going to walk, just like what happened in Tokyo 2020 or 2022 when it happened. Nobody was held accountable. People always walk free. So that culture of incompetence. What did you speak on that?
Rufai? Yes. Thank you very much for that question. I was overhearing, was it Rotus or your sports correspondent saying something about the credentials of Aaron, yes, Akerejola, saying, giving the credentials of the IOC president, that of Sebastian Coe and all whatnot. And he is spot on. Because you cannot give what you do not have. It just doesn't work like that. Sebastian Coe is a knight. He's knighted by the Queen. He's actually Lord Coe. He's not a businessman selling soft drinks somewhere. He represented Britain in 800, 1,500 meters middle distance races, won every medal of every color in every competition. After that, he went to the House of Commons, he went to the House of Lords, he became Chief of Staff to, so he has a pedigree. Now he is the president of the Olympic Committee. You cannot expect anything less than the best. The same thing with the IOC president, but flip up the coin and come to this part of the world. And what do we have? It has always been an issue of patronage. I always say that whether it's in science, in aeronautics, in medicine, in physics, in education, we have excellent Nigerians of the highest pedigree practicing what they love and what they know everywhere in the world. If you ask me, go seek them out and bring them in. For instance, you made a very good point. The scandals that came with these Olympics, in case Nigerians have forgotten. The first one was that Nigeria was the only country that had two different sets of kits. The Nigerian Olympic Committee ordered one, the Ministry of Youth and Sports ordered another one, and then the athletes were given, conflicting things to wear. And these are kits that sponsors paid for. So that was confusion number one. Confusion number two, on the day of the opening ceremony, the day Tigress, whom everybody is celebrating, got to the place where they will enter the boat to go and display themselves as part of Nigeria's contingent, and they were turned back because somewhere along the line, we had administrative lapses from the Nigerian officials. The third one, in case you've forgotten, is that our best medal hope in the sprints, Favour Ofili, who 4 years ago could not compete again because of administrative bungling. They didn't give them the money for grants and for doping ahead of time, and 14 of them were sent out of the games village. This time around, in her best event, she was not even entered. Again, an administrative lapse. Then finally, you saw what happened in cycling. The lone female cycler we had, on the day of the competition, she had no cycle. The Germans had to borrow her the cycle she used to compete in 2024 Rufai.
Okay.
Now, let's extrapolate the cyclist. It means, first, the Germans couldn't have given her the best bicycle. Two, it means she did not train because she never had a bicycle to train. And you expect her to win a medal?
Oh, okay.
But coming back to your question, sorry to cut you. Coming back to your question
we'll come back to
about
you.
Accountability. Sorry.
We just need to bring in Chioma Ajunwa, who's on standby. She's, of course, Nigeria's first Olympic gold medalist. Good morning, Chioma Ajunwa. It's so great to see you, so great to have you. And just getting straight into the conversation, what is your assessment of what has transpired over the past few weeks regarding Nigeria's participation at the Paris Olympics, especially from the position of your own experience as somebody who has been there before?
Well, my dear sister, good morning Nigeria, and good morning to everyone that cares to listen. It's quite disheartening that every year Nigeria will be telling this kind of story. If you could remember, after the last Olympics before this, it was still the same thing. And they will keep on telling us, oh, let them go back to the drawing board. The drawing board we never see, and we don't know how to draw on the board. It's quite unfortunate that we lost the whole chances, and the athletes wasted their time, their energy, their own personal resources. It's quite unfortunate that Nigerians spent so much, but that one is not my business because we don't spend that money when we're supposed to spend it. What I want to say is that when a man does not plan, he was definitely planning to fail. And we never planned. So what we saw there is exactly what we cultivated. You cannot go to another person's farm to cultivate when you did not farm in your own. Otherwise, they will now say you are a thief. Every year Nigeria want to go and thief medal. Why do I say that? Immediately after the closure of this Olympics, every country will go back and they will start planning immediately because this is 4 years some event. They've given the whole countries the whole time in the whole wide world to go and plan for their athletes to train. But we will just go back to our comfort zone and began to, celebrate the money we made there. Then began to invest in our own personal things with the money we made there instead of planning, and how the country will move forward. So that has always been our problem. I cried like a baby as if I am the one that missed. That was when Ophilie finally came sixth. Then the highest hope medal being Toby Amonson, just missed. When you look at the whole thing, personally, as I say, I know our minister might not be happy with what I said, that giving that training grant was not a happy mood to the athlete, rather it devastated them. Why did I say that? Because if he's giving them good money based on what these athletes have spent since they started their preparation, maybe it could have motivated them. But you gave them money more than what they were even expecting. Somebody that lives in the United States or UK or any part of Europe, you know how much the athletes use in training in the stadium where they train. Because even here in Nigeria does not allow athletes to go and train in the stadium. Stadium is always under lock and key. I don't know who they built that place for. So, where that is not your own country, definitely you got to pay. Because that place, they maintain everything, not here in our own country that we don't have the attitude of maintaining our edifice, stadiums. These athletes pay so much. You are going to gym, you have to pay. You are going for a sauna, you have to pay. You are going for swimming, you got to pay. So plus the houses where they are living. Everybody knows how much they pay per month. And you are coming at the competition venue to give an athlete living in UK, an athlete living in US, $5,000 as a training grant. My dear sister, the whole country, Nigeria, my dear beloved country, this is very, very unfair. And the home-based athlete, you give them $1,000.
All right.
So I don't know what it will do for this athlete. I think that is where the whole devastation came from.
Thank you so much,
They were
Madam.
confused, they were devastated,
Yes.
in fact, they were angry, the anger followed them to the track, and that was why you see what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. So we can
It's
see
quite
that
unfortunate.
even for morale to go on the track to do well, it's killed by the way that the athletes...
It wasn't there.
Yeah, it wasn't there at all. Thank you so much. And I'll come back to you. But Mr. Ojugbana, I had asked a question earlier on when Aaron was with us about leadership. Is this a leadership challenge that we have with sports in Nigeria in terms of, I mean, we saw what happened with Favour Ofili, we saw what happened with Annette in the last Olympics, making her, cross flags to go to the US to compete for them, winning a silver for them in the Hammers. We've seen what's happened with a number of athletes who've complained about how it was handled, the management, arrangements were handled. What do you have to say about that? And very importantly, how can we improve things? Because the Olympics gone, but we want to move forward. We want to take lessons from this particular Olympics to hopefully not repeat the same mistakes. And for Madam Chairman Ajunwa, after Mr. Ojugbana, I'd like you to also share what are some of the critical things that must happen for sports to work in Nigeria, speaking from an athlete's perspective. Because we can speak, but you are the one who's been there before. You understand the challenges that athletes face. So I'd like to come to you after Mr. Ojugbana makes his point.
Okay.
Aya, thank you very much. Let's start from the issue of motivation, because that is the core element for peak performance in sports. Earlier in the program, I had people talking about, I think it was Rotus, about how much each country had set aside for gold medalists. And we knew those who had $50,000, $100,000, $500,000, almost $1 million for everybody as an incentive and the motivation for you to go win the gold. Now, I want to throw back the question to you. How much did Nigeria put on the table as a reward for anybody who won a gold or a silver or a bronze? I'm sure all of us know the answer to that.
Yeah.
That's one. Secondly, did you notice that Nigerians were wearing the colors of very many countries, competing in that Olympiad, winning medals in every sport, from hammer throw to shot put to even in football? People didn't remember that the captain of the Japanese football team is a certain Chima Fujika. The captain, not just a player. What is the motivation that pushes them to go to other countries and excel? We had Nigerians competing for Bahrain, for Ireland, for Team Great Britain, for Canada, for USA, and on and on and on. So that's on the part of motivation. But let me go back to what Rufai asked, which is about the accountability. It's all over the place. The minister has come out and has apologized. Now that's good enough. But for me, that is just scratching the surface. I want to hear that 2 weeks ago, the officials who were responsible for not fielding Favour Ofili for 100 meters were sent back from Paris. They were named and they were shamed. I want to hear that the cycling coach or the cycling official who did not ensure that that girl had a bicycle to train with and to compete is banned from sports administration. For crying out loud, I'm going to use a country, a small country known as Uzbekistan, as my illustration now.
Okay.
Uzbekistan is 38 million people only. Do you know how many gold medals they won? They won 8 gold medals. 5 of them came from boxing alone. Boxing.
So we need to
which
find...
means they know their area of comparative strength.
That strength.
We know our own, but we are not doing it. We are not developing it.
All right.
5 out of 8 gold medals is 62% return on investment.
Absolutely.
From one sport. One. So why do we need to have 88 athletes? If you ask,
no, let me bring in Chioma. Let me bring in Chioma at this point. Thank you so much. There's so many things to unpack. Chioma, please can you share with us in terms of, from an athlete's perspective, what can be done now, at least so that people don't have to go through what our athletes have gone through in this particular Olympic cycle and what you probably went through as well during your time?
Please, one thing I think the people in the helm of affairs or Nigerian government should do is to overhaul the sports department in Nigeria. They should stop recycling the old administrative officers that never knew what they are doing. You know, because when you put somebody that knows his onions or her onions, we will not be speaking in this manner. When you put somebody that have the love, the passion, the zeal of the office where he's working for, he will know or she will know exactly what to do at every particular given time. Because the zeal, the passion is there. Our problem, number one, is that we are using those that never knew what sports is. People that never did sports for their life. Yes, they will tell you, say, this man, what's his name, the coach in the UK, after all, he never played football. Yes, because he had the passion. He was going through books, going through all manner of educative books to make sure that he is perfectly okay with the team he's training. And it paid off for him. But our own, when you go to Ministry of Sports, before 3 in the afternoon, they have all gone. They've all gone. There is no passion, there is no interest, there is nothing. So I believe that place could be overhauled. You know, and stop bringing in people, this is my brother's brother, this is my uncle's son, my uncle's daughter, to come and work in a sports office that need people that knows what to do. Okay, look at, no coordination. You can see that there was no coordination from Officer A to Officer Z.
Real quickly,
and probably a minister that just came in may not be known what they are doing.
As we wrap up, Chairman Ajunwa, should the minister be sacked? Should he go for all of this? Both of you, as we speak. Should the minister be sacked?
I'm not saying minister should go. Minister just came in. It's just 1 year in the office. He has still been monitoring the office. But right now, I thank God it happened in his own face. Okay, and he has apologized. That means he has acknowledged that, yes, they didn't do well. But he needs to pick those that know sports, that could give him good advice, that could do things for him, even if when he's not on seat.
Okay, Mr. Ajunwa.
You know, we must go to the grassroots, for crying out loud.
Okay,
Let us go to school sports in every state.
Okay, thank you so much, Chairman Ajunwa. Mr. Ojugbana, should the minister be sacked, yes or no?
Rufai, I'm not actually about individuals. It's not about name calling. I'm just a passionate Nigerian who wants the best for my country. Look at the example of Uzbekistan that I gave to you. If I am in charge of sports, the next boxing coach of Nigeria will be from Uzbekistan. Because something is happening there. My next crop of boxers are going to train in Tashkent, which is the capital of Uzbekistan, and they are going to spar with the Uzbeks and be better than what they are. If I'm interested in moving Nigeria forward, we will copy from the Kenyans, who are using the Rift Valley as a springboard to churn out all the middle and distant runners, simply because that Rift Valley is in an altitude where your lung expansion is provided for, where you have more oxygen intake, you have a higher hemoglobin in your system, and therefore you can last. So that's what we're talking about. It's not about individuals. It's about being spot on. Because like I said, sports is intentional.
Thank you so much.
Until we begin to see it as that, then there's no point even participating.
Thank you so much. Sport is intentional. If we don't see it as that, there's no point participating. Thank you so much for your time. I'll also try my job.